Well, guten Morgen. Guess where I am? Actually, that kind of gives it away, doesn't it? As does that. And didn't I write it in the thumbnail? Hold on, let me try that again. Good morning. And guess what? I'm not in London. Okay, that's enough of that. Well, welcome to Berlin. I'm here for 48 hours and it's currently 7 o'clock in the morning and -3. So I'm going to go off and get a cup of coffee, and then I'll tell you what my plan is for this city. Well, it actually turns out the Starbucks just across the road there doesn't open until 7:30, so I'll do my little intro now. So, as I say, I'm here for 48 hours. I used to do quite a lot of European cities back in the day when I was shooting film, when I was shooting for stock. But I've got a very different approach to it now because I'm not doing those formal touristy type shots that would sell for calendars, magazines and tourist magazines. So I'm after a more creative shot, a more creative angle, the type of shots that I do today. So I have a very different approach to how I photograph cities these days, and I think that gives me a bit more freedom to be, as I say, a bit more creative. So I was a little bit undecided what kit to bring with me on this trip. I've kept it very light. I haven't brought a tripod with me this time. But I didn't know whether to bring my primes or my zooms, so I've done a bit of both. So I've got my 24-40 standard zoom. That's my main lens that I'm shooting with. So I brought a zoom lens instead of primed. But I have got my 7.5 Leica ultra wide lens, which is 15mm full frame, and also a slightly longer telephoto, which is 60mm 120mm full frame. So that's slightly more telephoto than the standard zoom if I want a little bit more reach, but meant I didn't have to bring my telephoto zoom. Well, I don't think I'm going to get many shots. So that's my kit for this trip, and we'll just have to see what type of shots I manage to get. I don't know if I'm going to actually shoot this. It almost feels like too obvious in a landmark to do here. There's not much to do creatively with it. There's some nice pavement in front of it, which gives a nice diagonal effect. I might try a low angle shot there, but it's not really high on my shooting list, this one. I just happened to start off here this morning. So yeah, great to come and see it. Had to come and see it because I was in Berlin, but whether I get a shot of it, we'll just have to see. Well, a couple of nice shots there to start the day. I'm sure it'll be packed here later on, so it pays to come here early. But it's definitely time for that coffee now. Well, today I'm concentrating more on the historical side of Berlin, some of the landmarks that show the history of this city, that being the Brandenburg gate that I was at earlier, if you didn't know what that was. And next I've come down to this memorial, which although is a more modern structure, is obviously a very poignant reminder of Berlin's and Germany's past. It's a beautiful location, looks wonderful at first light, very abstract. I don't know if it actually needs people in the shots to make it more of a photographic point of view, people down the different rows, but we'll get some shots without and then see if people turn up and try and capture the views of people wandering around it as well. But yes, it is a very somber but beautiful attraction. Definitely one to come and visit when coming to Berlin. It is fantastic how we've got the morning sun here, however, which you wouldn't get on a cloudy day. All these shadows forming shapes or creating shapes of these blocks here rather than just grey slabs, so you get the light and the shade, and that really makes these stand out as an abstract image. Well, this is a famous view in Berlin. This is one of the museum buildings, I think. This is either photographed usually from the bridge or up on this walkway here. You've got obviously the TV tower in the background there as well. Unfortunately, we also got a couple of cranes in the background, so it's spoiling that view slightly. But I've come down here just on the edge of the river here because I saw there was some graffiti along the side. Got a nice leading line, nice diagonal, and a splash of colour. So instead of just a traditional view from up above, which you often see at night, I'm looking around for those alternative views, something that fits in with the kind of shots I usually do, as you know. So that's my first one. It's not great, but we'll see if there's another view. Perhaps we can get a shot somewhere which doesn't include those cranes, or just get a slightly more creative view. I'm saying that word a lot, creative. That's what I'm after on this trip, creative views. So what do you do when you've got this kind of situation where you've got cranes spoiling the common view? Well, I'm trying to work with the view. I'm working the location. I'm trying to work with those cranes. So I'm going with the cranes in the shot. Obviously, I'm using the boat that comes into shot. I'm using the trains that cross the train track in the background. I'm using the features on the bridge here, the heart padlocks and some writing. I'm going for different alternative versions. None of them are prize winners. They're not that great. I'm just trying to make the most of what I have got here. The alternative is just to walk away and say, oh, couldn't get the shot. Well, I've come over to the east side now. I'm at the Berlin Wall, as you can see. Very popular spot over here. Some very popular bits of the graffiti as well. The ones where all the hordes of tourists are gathering around. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm not sure how I'm going to get a creative shot of this. I suppose you could take a shot of the famous ones and sort of superimpose them over some views of Berlin, kind of double exposure type thing. That would work quite well. I don't want to just take a shot of the graffiti, or the artwork, so I'm going to have to find a slightly alternative view to do this, or a creative way of capturing this. But yes, another place you definitely want to come and see when in Berlin. Acknowledge the history that's here and the significance of this wall. Well, it's been a long day, a tiring day, but I thought I'd finish off here at the Potsdamer Platz, also known as the Sony Centre, I think, because there's a Sony store here. Well, as you would have seen, there's lots of modern buildings around here, so I've gone from historical Berlin to modern Berlin now, and this obviously being a nice modern structure, beautiful roof up there. So I'm going to do some shots now while it's still light, and then wait for it to get dark, and I think all the lights come on under here and it should look good, and hopefully I'll be able to use my ultra wide angle prime that I brought with me. Should be ideal for this. So the lights have just come on now, so start of the evening shoot. I'm going to be doing most of these handheld. I have got a little tripod with me if I want to set up somewhere, but I think I'll be able to do most of these handheld. Put the ISO up to about 800, keep the aperture quite wide, f2.8, 3.5, f4, something like that. And that should give me a safe shutter speed, especially on the Olympus, which will probably be around 13th of a second, something like that. So quite low, but enough to be able to handhold the same with the Olympus cameras. So all looking very good, all looking very colourful up there. So it's just a case of pointing up and shooting. Well, I've ended up in a heap on the ground, not because I've fallen over, just I'm trying to do some very low angle shots. But that's my night shoot done, and that's day one in Berlin done. I'll see you tomorrow for some more. Well, day two, same city, obviously, different weather. Bit more cloudy, but it is meant to be brightening up today, and different subjects. So today I'm going to be concentrating more on modern Berlin, some of the more modern views and buildings. This one down here being my first one, not the bottom half, that's the old bit, it's the bit on top. That's going to be my first location. Hopefully it's going to brighten up, hopefully we're going to get some more sun, but it is a very nice start here in Berlin, so it should be a good day. So this is the Reichstag building, and I've booked to go inside here. I've made two appointments actually, one for 9 o'clock, which it is now, and one for 1 o'clock, just in case the weather wasn't great on one of the appointments, like it is now, so I can come back later if it gets a bit sunnier, which I was hoping it to be. So it gets you access to that bit up there, that inner bit, stairwell and roof, and that dome. So that's the modern part of that building. So I'll see you inside. Well, I've made it up here, got through security. Basically had to be strip searched for all the metal objects I seem to be carrying. But anyway, we're up here and got this lovely rooftop terrace, views all the way round, and then that inner sort of staircase dome, which kind of reminds me of City Hall in London. Same sort of thing, a big dome with stairway going all the way round, spiralling to the top. So I'm going to get some views out here where the cloudy conditions, and this may be where good coming back later on. If that sky clears, get some blue sky views. But inside, we'll see how that goes. And again, shame the sun's not shining this morning, just because of the sort of shafts of light coming in through the windows. Could have made some good silhouette type shots. But we'll see if we can do some of those this afternoon if I come back. Well, this place is pretty much made for ultra wide angle lenses. This is proving ideal for here. Well, back outside now, and it's looking pretty good in there. I think I've got some good shots. Still cloudy at the moment, but the sun's trying to break through. It's just coming through the edge of the cloud now, so I might hang around, try and get it all done in one visit. So I've got some views to do, a bit moody cloud for now, some reflections. See what else we can capture from this. This is a pretty amazing place, pretty amazing. You see, the sun's just starting to break through now. It's all very good. Right, I'm going. Seems I overstayed my visit there, but it was pretty good, wasn't it? Well, here I am at one of Berlin's best elevated viewpoints. Unfortunately, I can't tell you where I am because I shouldn't be here myself, but it certainly was worth coming if you know where it is, and if you know where it is, definitely come up here. Unfortunately, it's not the best time of day to do this. It's best time at sunset, but I'm hoping to be somewhere else for that, another elevated viewpoint. But for now, just to get a shot, it was definitely worth sneaking in for. Just look at that view. Oh, you can also see my elevated viewpoint for sunset from here, just over there in the distance. Well, this evening's sunset view is an elevated view, and it's of this subject up there, but it's not from that subject. You can go up that. Instead, it's the view from up there. Before that, however, I thought I'd take a look around the Alexanderplatz area, take some shots of the tower and the surrounding area, especially with this beautiful afternoon light I was having. Guaranteed shots. So welcome to the second best view in town. Top of the Park Inn Hotel, waiting for sunset, which will be directly over that way, with the TV tower as the main focal point. What a place! What a place! It's a very informal rooftop bar up here, so it's quite a chilled out vibe. People just sitting around in deck chairs, admiring the view. All very nice. Well, if you're wondering how that night shoot went, basically it didn't. My camera died on me. I kid you not. Camera died just as it was starting to get dark, just as the lights came on. Shutter blind down, camera's totally locked up. Tried taking the battery out, switching it on and off, everything. Camera won't come on at all, completely dead. So, didn't get my night shot, so the only pictures you will see, if I put up, will be from my iPhone or stills from my video camera. I didn't bring a backup camera with me. I was going to, but I wanted to keep things light, so I didn't bring a backup camera, so my fault there. So I suppose it's lucky that this is my last day. I go home tomorrow and not the first day, but always bring a backup camera. Well, I suppose I better end the video here then. I hope you enjoyed Berlin, what there was of it, and I'll see you on the next one.